You're wondering how long your case is going to take. And there's one thing you need to understand. It's called the injury case timeline. If you understand how this timeline works, you'll understand why waiting is often what protects the money that ends up in your pocket. After more than 27 years of dealing with this common question, I've found that the biggest mistakes happen when clients don't understand what should be happening behind the scenes. In this video, I'm going to explain why the timeline is usually controlled by your medical treatment and not by your lawyer, why some of the longest delays are actually protecting the value of your case, and how the insurance company's deadlines really work, and the real answer to when your case will be finished. So let's start with the first step in every injury case. Part 1. Treatment is the clock. The single biggest thing that controls your timeline is your own medical treatment. We don't send a demand package to the insurance company until you've reached what's called maximum medical improvement, or MMI for short. And that's the point where you're either fully healed or your doctors have told you this is as good as it's going to get. And here's why we wait. If you settle at the 3-month mark, but your injury actually takes a year to heal, you've left real money on the table. And once you settle, there's no going back. And it gets worse. Settling early tells the insurance company you weren't really that hurt, so they end up paying you less. So when we wait for you to finish treating, we're not stalling. We're building the full picture of what this injury actually cost you. Part number 2, the records wait. Once you're done treating, we request all of your medical records. And this is where a lot of the waiting actually happens. It usually takes anywhere from 30 days to a couple of months. Sometimes a provider just sits on it. And even though the law says that they have to hand over those records, we can't lean on them too hard because we may need that same doctor as a witness down the road. So part of this is genuinely out of our hands. But here's where you can help. If it's a smaller local clinic, sometimes a call from you moves things faster than a call from us. Part 3, what you can do while you wait. While we're waiting on the medical records, the clock doesn't have to stop for you. If you missed work, get us your wage loss information and take your impact statement seriously. That's where you tell us, in your own words, how this injury changed your life, the pain, the things you can't do anymore, the day-to-day inconvenience of it all. That's not just paperwork for the file. That's real money. It's the part of your claim that pays you for what you actually went through. So the more honest and detailed you are, the stronger your case is. Part 4, the demand and the insurance clock. Once we have everything, writing your demand is fairly quick, often just a couple of days. Then your attorney reviews it, we send it, we confirm that the insurance company received it, and then they get 30 days to respond. And sometimes they do take longer than that, even though they're not supposed to. So between sending your demand and hearing back, you're often looking at 6 to 8 weeks before we're even at the table. Part 5, negotiation. Then we negotiate. And this is when I need you available, because every offer, every counter offer, we want to talk through it with you. What does $25,000 actually mean for you after your bills are paid and attorney's fees are paid? What about $30,000? We'll show you exactly what lands in your pocket at each number. Negotiation shouldn't drag on. If we can't get to a fair number within a couple of months, we don't want to just keep waiting. We want to file a lawsuit. And that alone often pushes the insurance company to finally get serious. And that starts the clock on the trial. Part 6, the real answer. So here's your real answer. Once you're done treating, a typical case should resolve in about 6 months. And that covers everything: getting your medical records, sending out the demand package, the insurance company's review, and the negotiation. And if we can't settle it in that window, then we move into the litigation phase. And yes, that does add time, but here's the truth. Most cases settle long before they ever see a court. Now, if you're thinking 6 months still feels long, how do I speed this up? Well, here's the good news. I made a whole separate video on exactly that, the things you can do to move your case faster. And I made another one on what actually happens once we file a lawsuit. I'm Rick Park. If you got a question about your case, drop it in the comments below. It might just be the next video that I make.